guys, I hope you have a happy Friday, and I'm enjoying doing the short videos again. We'll see how long it lasts, but I plan to do it Monday through Friday, both on YouTube and on Rumble. So YouTube, I never know what I could say, so subscribe to Rumble too, but thank you for watching. One of the things that has really impacted me as I got older is how everything has inverted. The left and the right. I don't even know what left and right mean anymore, because what the left used to advocate when I was younger, let's say in the 1970s, I was a kid, that it kind of imprints on you. You think, oh, left, they're like hippies, marching like, hey, peace man, no war, down with the corporations, fuck the rich. I mean, that was their whole ethos. That was the left. And the right you pictured as kind of Mr. Burns characters in The Simpsons. You remember that guy is just like real greedy, likes to have war, and tries to suppress people. That was the cartoon version, but people really had it in their minds. This was the left and the right, right? The left is anti-war, the right is hawkish and pro-war. And you saw this in television series. If you guys ever watched MASH, that was hugely popular in the 70s. It didn't age well. It became really sanctimonious and preachy. And looking back on it, I'm like, how could anyone enjoy this? It's supposed to take place in the Korean War, but they all had like 70s haircuts. It was stupid. And Alan Alda, what a prick. I can't stand that guy. He's a shit lib. But that was the whole thing, right? So you have Alan Alda, Hawkeye. He's the hip, cool guy that's against war. And then the people that are for war, I think like Major Burns is like a stupid idiot, you know, typical conservative, how they portrayed it. And now everything is inverted. Now all the left, they are the ones that are excited about this stupid war in Ukraine. It's a slaughter. Like hundreds of thousands of people have died. 300,000 Ukrainians, I don't know how many Russians. For what? For what? It's just like over the Donbass, because the Donbass is ethnically Russian. And they don't want to be part of Ukraine or the dictator that we installed there. And Zelensky is a dictator. And the government was put in by the United States. So they should have a right. I mean, they should have a right if they want to live in Russia, be part of Russia. We should put it to vote. But no. The left doesn't stand for that. We got to fight. And it's so weird how we've had this change. I remember in the 70s, you know, all these women that were liberals, like, oh, I envision a day that the Pentagon, they have to have a bake sale to raise money to buy a bomber. That would be a glorious day, instead of having to have a bake sale to raise money for the schools. And that was all bullshit anyway. We pissed a lot of money away on public schools. But that was the idea. But now they're all for the military-industrial complex. And the other thing is the whole idea of free speech. And it was a big movement in the 70s. They would always say, hey, I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death for you to have the right to say it. And they pushed their idea of free speech was saying obscenities, right? Because there are certain words you couldn't say on TV. So the left, you know, they were like, oh, we're edgy. We're going to say fuck, yeah. And that they felt like, oh, free speech, man. And they thought that's what free speech meant. And pornography, you know, Hustler magazine, Playboy, all of that. And the conservatives, they were the book burners. But now, here we are in 2023, and the biggest censors by far are the left. Well, like this new social media Twitter clone, Threads. If you're on the right, if you criticize Biden, bam! They're just totalitarian. And well, on YouTube here, we have groups like the ADL that determine who to censor, what videos to pull down. They're modern day book burners. I mean, we don't have the books or videos, but it's the same thing. They're burning videos. They're shutting down ideas. And it's not even stuff that advocates violence or anything like that. They just don't like certain political ideas they try to shut down. And supposedly the left was all against that, but now they're all on board with that. In fact, they demand more censorship. And it's really weird because the press used to be on the left then they, as part of the left, they're like, no, we need openness. We got to fight government censorship. Now the left is crying, and the news media, they're crying because the federal judge said, no, the United States government, you can't force social media to censor people about stories you don't like. And recently it was Hunter Biden's laptop. Remember, they're trying to say, that's Putin did that. It was all a lie. But the FBI told Twitter to censor people on YouTube. And the same with the whole COVID nonsense. The government, they lied, and they told social media to try to suppress people that were telling the truth. It's very effective. I got a couple of strikes on YouTube for that. So this was unthinkable for the left years ago. The left was supposedly all about openness. Now they're all about censoring. They don't want to hear any debates. It's a real narrowing of the American mind. They just have their view. If you go outside the view, you're a heretic and you need to be shut down, deplatformed, maybe killed. This is the modern left. And then you have the corporation thing. It used to be the left hated corporations. Again, it was a Mr. Burns, old white man that were trying to oppress people and exploit people. And now corporations, you're usually run by some, I don't know, gay Indian that is demanding you use the right pronouns in your email to support the company's drag queens. Otherwise, you're going to be fired. So it's like the corporations, like on Pride Month, everyone has a homosexual flag everywhere. They all take woke positions. Look at Disney. You name it, Ford, Coke, Pepsi, they all take positions that are anti-West, anti-Christianity, anti-white, without exception, almost without exception. And these are the major corporations. And I think then the final thing, well, there's two things. It's the love of the FBI and CIA. When I was at university, this was in 1981, I started university, at Colorado State University, I remember it was fascinating. They wouldn't even allow the CIA to recruit on campus. They boycott. They said, no, you're not allowed on here. There was such a hatred of the FBI and CIA. And now the FBI and CIA, they just love it, the left, because the FBI now acts as a tool of the Democratic Party. They try to shut down right-wing groups. They are agent provocateurs. They plant evidence. They try to illegally censor people. They were involved with that Russian hoax to hurt Trump. So now it's like, oh my God, we love the secret police. Again, a total inversion. And finally, the whole attitude about working people and the poor or middle class or lower middle class. Again, this was a stereotype in the 70s, but I was taught this in school that, oh, okay, the difference between the Democrats and Republicans, Democrats are for the working man and the poor, Republicans are for the rich. Really, that was the stereotype. So you thought Republican, you thought of some white male in a big corporation, at a country club, smoking a cigar, playing golf, hates the environment, hates everyone. That's how you thought about Republicans. And Democrats, they were like the lunch pail crew. They put on the hard hat and they worked hard every day. And they lived in a small house, but, they loved the country god. And that's who the Democrats appealed to. That was the myth. It was never really true, but that's what they try to push it. But now the left and the establishment, they actively hate like poor people and working class people. It is so strange. We have this idea, if you're not rich, there's something wrong with you. You're trash. And you see this especially with white people. Like if you're white and you're living in a trailer, oh my God, you're trailer trash, you stupid hicks, you're useless. They mock poor white people, the Democrat Party and the so-called liberals. It's weird. The whole left wing is no longer hardly about economic policies or protecting the environment. It's all about getting in wars on a global basis. It's like, what the hell? And they're involved in trying to eliminate whiteness and push these weird sexualities everywhere. Like when you think of the Democratic Party now, what pops in my mind is a drag queen with purple hair in a first grade classroom dancing and showing his junk to the children. That's what I think when I think of Democrat now. That's the image. And It's amazing how we got there. So I don't know really what left and right mean anymore, but it's interesting how those terms have really flip-flopped, because I'm considered I'd probably be described as radical right, but I'm anti-war. I'm against war unless it's against the United States. So that eliminates most of the wars. Like, I'm against being involved in the war in Ukraine. When it comes to free speech, I'm for free speech when it comes to anything political, religious. Now, I don't think Hustler magazine or hardcore pornography falls under that, but otherwise I support a law that would require corporations over a certain size not to censor people based on the religious or political viewpoints, because that's part of the American spirit. I don't really care for corporations. I think corporations in general are evil, and they do bad things, and they just are in bed with the government, and this is what we see right now. I'm opposed to the secret police and the FBI. I want to get rid of the FBI. They are so corrupt. They've been corrupt in the 50s and 60s. There was an attempt to reform the FBI in the 70s. They're back to their old ways. They're interfering in elections. They're working with the Democrats. They were spying on Donald Trump really illegally. They put a FISA warrant based on false information. They violated the civil rights of Americans when it came to free speech by going to Twitter and YouTube telling them, shut it down, shut these people down. Those people should be arrested. The FBI needs to be abolished. Is that a right-wing position? And I'm very much pro with working people. I don't like this just mocking poor people or middle-class people or lower middle-class people. Maybe because I am one, but I never liked that. Even when I had a lot more money, I don't like people that just look down upon people like that. It really bugs me. But with the left, you really see this. They're in their little gated communities, and they have their LGBTQ flag around, and they have their BLM. Of course, there's no blacks around, but they have the BLM flag, and they're just so shitty people. I've dealt in my life with all different strata of people, from the very low to the very top, and anymore the upper middle class people are just irritate me anymore. I used to be, I was kind of in that class, but now they just really piss me off. They're just they buy into everything. They have no sense of courage. They have no connection to the land or communities. They just go with whatever fad is in fashion because they're cowards. They don't think originally. It's really pathetic. And that, so typically right wing, you think, oh, you support the rich and everything. And no, not at all. I support the working man, and I support the people that actually do real labor, not these bitches that work in the HR department. Those are the Democrats now, right? That's a Democratic voter. Some female lesbian that works at Google HR. I mean, you guarantee she's a Democrat voter. That's a Democrat constituency. So it's really interesting how this has all changed. Guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later.